How's everybody's Tuesday so far? Yeah? How many of you are football fans? Raise your hand. How many of you are 49er fans? Raise your hand. Yes. The rest of you can leave. In fact, go out that back door.
About football.
So I don't know if many of you know this, but growing up, one of my favorite passions was magic. So I'm going to show you something today that is probably going to be one of the greatest tricks that you've ever seen. But you cannot ask me how I do it because I won't tell you. So we always talk about how you can make things visually stunning, right? Watch this.
Oh my goodness, John.
Seems to work on my kids every time. Anyways, that's
Daddy, do it again.
I usually tell them to look across the room and they do it. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Well, welcome to Rev Up Module 1. Today is our first week in a 12-week series. And what I wanted to touch on today was a few things. In fact, Lance and I talked about this just yesterday. We had talked about some of the basics, right? And I know it's really important. You know, we all have, a million things to drive in real estate. A ton of things that we can do. But really what I want to focus on today is bringing a lot of us back to the basics, okay? And that's what we're going to focus on today in Rev Up 1. Today is our goals, plannings, and systems. Next week, we will learn to establish our brand. And for those that farm, we're going to develop a farm. For those that don't farm, I think you saw the importance of it in one of our other sessions, which was down below. But anyways, these are our modules that we're going to get to. Everything goes in order, so we start off learning about the business, kind of figuring out what we should be doing, and then by week 12, we are literally working on listings, getting listings, and becoming listing agents. Not everybody wants to be a listing agent. It certainly is a way to provide a lifestyle versus just a role that you do in the business. So we encourage everybody to focus on the listings. Our learning objectives today, one of the biggest ones is that we're going to think like a business owner. Many of us take this career and we think of it just as we're realtors. Exactly. So I want to try and get everyone thinking like a business owner today. And a big one we're going to focus on as well is lead follow-up. Too often we don't follow up with our clients. So if everyone will say the affirmation with me, I am the architect of my life. I build its foundation and choose its contents. If you think about that from a business perspective, a business owner, that's exactly how most CEOs would think of their business, is that they are the architect of their life. They choose how their business should be ran, and they get to build its foundation and choose its contents. So, in light of football being a big weekend, I thought we would talk about this gentleman, one of the greatest coaches, in fact, the winningest coach in the NFL history. His name is Vince Lombardi. How many of you know that when an NFL team wins the Super Bowl, what they get is a trophy? And this team trophy is known as the Vince Lombardi Trophy. So I want to talk to you for a moment about this. In 1960, Vince Lombardi's football team, they lost the NFL championship game in the fourth quarter. Vince Lombardi took his team on the first day of training camp the next year. He got all these 38 sports players together, and he told these men that they're going to go back to the basics. Well, all these guys were around, and they're thinking, that they're going to come back from this brutal loss, and they're going to focus on, new plays. They're going to focus on the biggest things that they've been focusing on for the last decade that drove them to get to these championship games. But Vince Lombardi had a way different approach. He decided to start with this famous saying. He took nothing for granted. And I want you to think about this for yourself for a moment, okay? Because a lot of us have been in business for a while, and some of us are brand new. But I want you to think about this. Vince Lombardi took nothing for granted. He began a tradition of starting from scratch. Think about this year, being 2020. Assuming the players were blank slates who carried over no knowledge from the year before.
It's fine. They're just testing the fire alarms.
It's okay.
I was about to go to that door right now. Everybody stay low.
I thought it was a football whistle.
I know.
That's part of this whole thing.
I tell you guys, it's magic. Okay? Great timing. So he began with the most elemental statement of all. Gentlemen, he said, holding a pigskin in his right hand, this is a football. 6 months later, Vince Lombardi's team beat the New York Giants 37-0 and won the NFL championship. Vince Lombardi never lost in the playoffs again, won 5 NFL championships in the span of 7 years, including 3 in a row. He never coached a team with a losing record. This is important. Throughout our lives, the focus on the fundamentals is what will determine our results. The fundamentals. Think about that. You're a star athlete. You've been doing this forever. You know the game, and you're going to start from scratch every single year. That's something that we really need to take to heart for all of us, is we must start from scratch. All right. If it's not the construction upstairs, it is something else. This building is cursed on us. All right, developing your business mindset. There are 3 key characteristics that every business owner, every single one of us must have. Great work ethic, perseverance, and positive mindset. How many of you would say that you have great work ethic? Be honest, just raise your hand. Okay. How many of you would say that you have unwavering perseverance? Okay. It's a challenge for sure. And how about every single day we have that positive, make it happen mindset? Every single day.
I have
Maybe one time.
Yeah. You see, it's funny when you raise your hand, no one can make eye contact. Everyone's like this. So I want you to think about this, okay? And I want you to chime in on this. And I want to ask each one of you, well, not every one of you, but those that want to share, what does success mean to you? Someone raise their hand and share. What does success mean to you? Whether it's cars, no matter what it might be, monetary, family, what is success?
For me, it's making memories with my family.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Babe?
Helping others.
Helping others. That's what success is to you.
Yeah.
The ultimate form of success in my mind, yes. What else? Anyone else?
I would have to agree with Treasure. Like being able to, you focus on their wants, you'll get what you need.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah, I think a lot of that spills over into our business. One of the things I believe is that success does come in 2 parts. And I believe the first part of being successful is wanting to be successful. Sometimes our past, sometimes our present doesn't allow us to really feel like we maybe deserve it, or maybe we shouldn't have it. So really the first part is wanting the success. The second part is knowing what you have to give up in order to become successful. And I truly believe that's put in perspective for athletes that are just all of us, right? New Year's resolution comes, we all want to go to the gym. But what are we willing to give up to get that, right? Are we willing to give up food, fast food? Are we willing to give up certain things here and there? It's not easy, right? Are we willing to give up sleep to wake up early enough to go? What are we sacrificing? Movies instead of spending time with family, right? So absolutely, we really need to realize what it is that we have to give up in order to get that success. If you can answer these 3 questions, I would say that you're very much well on your way into becoming an extremely successful business owner. Are you willing to follow a schedule and treat this career, even though you're not punching the clock for someone else, to treat it like a career?
Yes.
Are you firmly committed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you keep pushing forward even when the going gets tough?
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Am I coachable? Are you ready to learn?
Yes.
All right, let's dive into work ethic. What does work ethic look like? Okay? Diligence, hard work, and self-discipline. You have a plan of action, and you work it consistently. You see, nobody plans to fail, but many people fail to plan. How many of you have a plan right now, a 2020 plan that you've written down? Okay, a couple of you. All right. Be consistent. Being consistent is absolutely important. Sticking to your schedule. This is going to be crazy important as you move through, real estate every single day. Life is going to kind of take its toll on us, and we've got to make sure that nothing gets in the way of that schedule. Remember this, it takes 30 to 60 days to change a habit and 1 year to change a lifestyle. I've heard a lot of people come to me in the 6-month, 7-month realm, and they'll say, hey, this just isn't really working out. I thought it was going to be different. Well, what habits have you created? Because those habits that you're creating are probably not gearing you up for a lifestyle change. When I was selling short sales, 10, 11 years ago, one of the things that we had to prove in the banking world, right, to the underwriters was that there was some form of hardship. And one of the hardships that the bank would allow was a financial increase, like winning the lottery. that became a hardship because people didn't know now how to handle that money. They didn't know what to do with it. So it became a hardship. And it was one of the things that we could list as a problem. So creating a lifestyle, it is something that we try to focus on in 12 weeks. Right? We don't want to just sell real estate the rest of our lives. We have to have that exit strategy. We need to be able to sell our business. Perseverance. Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. Dumb question, but how many of you know who Thomas Edison is? How many of you know how many tries he attempted to create the light bulb? Right? How many? 1,000? 10,000. 10,000 tries. In light of perseverance, I wanted to talk to you about someone that really, truly should have given up, according to, human standards, right? Should have given up. 29 years of absolute heartache. And I'm going to read these bullet points because, to me, it's extremely important that we understand. He failed at business in 1831, defeated in his run for state legislation in 1832, failed again. His fiancée died in 1835. 1836, he had a breakdown. He lost his run for Congress in 43. In 48, he tried again and lost. Lost the Senate race in 55. Lost the Senate bid in 59. And after 29 years, he was elected the 16th president in 1860, Abraham Lincoln. You see, the difference between success and failure was perseverance. So why a business owner must have perseverance is because we will, at times, feel this market. Sometimes the market is slow. Sometimes the market is fast. More often, this market is just confusing. And if we get lost in that confusion, what's going to wind up happening is we're going to quit along the way. I don't think any one of us have that nerve in us that really should quit, especially as realtors. Let's look at a positive mindset. Mindset is a process, not an event. Look at that statistic. 90% of success in any sales-related field can be attributed to attitude. How many of you would agree with that? Yes. Those that don't, you're a part of the 10%. Attitude. How many of you can say that attitude, you've seen a bad attitude make something in your life go down the drain quickly? Yeah. Someone want to share? I didn't think so.
We're all married, right?
Wow. Somebody Somebody said it. Hang on.
Hey,
3 times.
Want to go check the fire alarms? Self-talk. Self-talk matters. We always start our classes with affirmations. Why do we talk about affirmations? It trains our minds to seek the things that we really want in life. And if we're having a down day and you don't have that support group around you, maybe you're on the middle of an island somewhere all by yourself in your thoughts, like Walter Mitty or Smitty, whatever his name is, you're going to need to be able to tell yourself that you are worth it, that this business is worth it, that you did make the right decision. Let's take a look at you. Think about this. When you're working with buyers, are you taking them out to show them homes? Or are you taking them out to find them their new home? It's all about attitude and how we switch things up. How many of you have ever had a buyer that you said, oh, it's not going to pan out. They're not going to buy a home today. So you go in with this horrible attitude. 3 months later, you have the same buyer, and you're now on your 19th home that you're looking at. $300+ in gas money's gone, and now you have created the worst rapport with that buyer. And it's because of that attitude. Seriously, because of that attitude. All right, I want every one of you to take responsibility right now. Stop making excuses for exactly where you are. Now, maybe it's an exactly incredible moment in your life and you love exactly where you are. Perfect. Don't make excuses then. You're right where you need to be. And if you're not where you need to be, I want you to look at this. Are your thoughts and actions leading you to where you want to go? Are they taking you to where your business goals are? Well, if you don't have any goals written down, then it's going to be really challenging to know where you're going. Very challenging. And the worst part is if you don't have a plan and you don't have a roadmap for how to get there, what is your goal? What is your goal? Someone tell me, what's a goal you have this year? It could be finances, it could be relationships, spiritual. What is it?
To increase my finances.
To increase your finances. Absolutely. Do you have a business plan for that?
No,
Not yet.
not yet.
Good. Not yet. Who else has a goal?
Mine is to focus on me a little bit more. That sounds selfish to some people, but focus on me a little bit more.
Do you have something written down somewhere that's going to allow you to focus?
Do.
Awesome. And how are you doing with that so far?
I'm doing great. I look at it every morning. It's on my mirror.
How amazing is that? Right? I want to increase my finances, not you specifically. I want to increase my finances, but I have no way to really get there, but I'm going to do it. Right? I'm going to turn my headlights off in my car at night. It's midnight, and I'm driving down a wooded area. And I'm going to get to the end of my destination. It's going to be a challenge, probably get there, but there's going to be a lot of bumps and dings and bruises along the way. The other side is, yes, I'm doing absolutely great. I look at my goals every single morning. I'm getting where I need to be. Well, why are you doing it? Because I wrote it down and I'm making it happen. Extremely important that we have that. Focus on what you want. Be deliberate and intentional in your thoughts and actions. What does that look like? Let me tell you. Treasure and I, we started a wine club in Mountain House years ago. And when we were hosting these wine events, you know, we would sell out the first 50 that would sign up and register. We'd sell out in like 5, 10, 15, 20 seconds. It was unbelievable. And so the first 50 that signed up got to go to this event. And while we're at this event, I would usually start off and I would give some type of wine knowledge. And one of the things that we would talk about was holding your glass, right? Holding your glass in your left hand. And to drink wine, you really should have a stem. One of the reasons why you have a stem on your glass is because let's say you stopped off at Nation's Burgers or Habit Burger and you had extra onions that day and you had extra grilled onions put on it and you don't have a stem on your glass and now you're going to drink and the only thing you're smelling is these onions. You're taking away from the true art of this wine. And then we talked about why you hold this glass in your left hand, right? Why do you toast with your left hand? Anyone know? It's because it's the closest to your heart. So it means the most when you're giving a toast. So being intentional and being deliberate, it's not just having a glass of wine, it's being deliberate about how we have that glass of wine from now on. It's not about just going to an open house. It's being deliberate on our actions prior to the open house that are really going to drive in that success. Can anyone agree with that? Those that don't, door's right there. Totally kidding. Totally kidding. All right. Clients first mentality. This to me is the most important thing we have in our industry. Honesty, integrity, and professionalism. Absolutely, hands down, it should be the base and the foundation for everything we do. Make a commitment to your clients' needs first. Always work in their best interest. Look at this, which sometimes means recommending they don't do the deal. That is extremely important, right? We can't just focus on the paycheck. We've got to put our clients' needs first. In this profession, those who really get this concept at the base level will truly enjoy a prosperous career with a steady stream of repeat and referral business. That's the goal. Sometimes it means going backward on our deal to do the right thing for your client.
And you'll notice that on the other side of the transaction. If it's not you, you'll notice it on the agent on the other side because they have commission breath. And it just, you're just like, man. Like,
Say that again, commission what?
Commission breath.
Commission breath.
That's so true.
Wow.
So,
My mind's spinning with marketing right now. That's amazing. I appreciate you sharing that because it's absolutely true. You know, you don't find this too often. You know, you find agents that go out and they sell desperate, right? Their finances are in trouble. So they begin to push that and project that onto someone else.
and you'll all be there, so just be mindful of it when you're with your clients. Try to have that positive mindset. 'Cause I've been there,
Yeah.
and it sucks.
Yeah, it does.
But to need that deal, so
Yeah.
it all seems to work out.
It does. Do's in real estate. There's a lot of do's. One that I circled was show confidence. It's a no-brainer, but it is the one thing that we don't tend to do. We don't show confidence. Why? Because we're not confident in our ability of what we can do, what we are able to do, what we have done, or maybe we just don't feel that we know what we're doing. Confidence is a killer. Speak and write professionally. Now, I'm not a professor, right? But I can tell you, this drives me nuts when I see people post anything, not even realtors, just post, and they're not spelling the right way. They're not, and here's the issue that I have with it, right? It's not that we it's not that we can't spell, it's that we just don't take the time to figure out how it's supposed to be done. And what worries me about that is that we're all business owners. We're dealing with contracts. And contracts, every single line item in page is a legal document. Did you agree with that?
Yes.
Every single page is a legal document. And if we're not checking our own spelling, what's going to say we're not going to check every single page, every single line item, right? So when I see something that's posted perfectly, and I know that an individual might have taken them 10, 12, 15 different reads, 15 different ways before they posted it, that's true success. That's the individual that's going to make it in this business a long time, because you won't make the mistakes that most agents are making. Be persistent. Be persistent. I've met with a lot of agents who said, well, I really don't want to post on Facebook too much. I don't want to post on Instagram too much because I just don't want to annoy people, right? That's a very valid argument. Believe me, it's a very valid argument. But if the content that you have can change the trajectory of someone's financial life, then it's worth putting it on. But if you don't have confidence in your company, if you don't have confidence in your ability, then you're not going to be persistent. There's no reason to. Associate with people who are doing more than you. Wow. I said it last week. I'm going to say it again. The most legal way, right? We're not talking about running drugs or anything illegal, but if you want to be a millionaire, hang out with millionaires. I mean, it's that simple. If you want to be successful, hang out with successful people. If you like gossip, hang out with people who gossip. Your life will become gossiper. Gossiping. I don't know what you say about that. I truly prefer to hang out with people who are doing more than me, because now it pushes me to do better. And if my family is worth everything to me, and they are, then I need to hang out with people who are doing more than me. Look at some of the don'ts. Don't sell desperate. Don't ask a question that they can answer no to. You'll often hear me say, do you want to go to the movies? Yes or yes. That's it. I'm not going to give you an option to say no, because what's the first word we probably heard as a child? No, right? Don't put your finger in the socket. Don't touch it. Why we always had to say it like, I don't know, but that's what I heard growing up. I thought my name was Don't ever sell that you are great. Always sell why you're great. You see, that's the difference between a successful post that's going to get a return on that investment, that time you spent to write it, and one that's not successful. Nobody wants to hear that you're great, right? Everyone wants to hear why. What makes you great? Because if something about you makes you great, then it's going to help me. That's who I'm looking for. All right, we want to set the stage for success. There are some must-haves in this business. Maybe you're brand new, maybe you're not brand new. Maybe you've been in the business 6-7 months and you don't have these items. This is what I would highly recommend that you have immediately. And I circled the most important. Passenger vehicle with AC in good running condition.
Okay.
You ever been in a car and they don't turn the air on and you're too afraid to ask them to turn it on? So you just sweat to death? Oh, Lord help me. That's just, I run hot, right? My wife makes me keep the heater on every night at like 99 degrees, just because it's too hot if it's 100, I guess. I can't do it. I need to be cold. They have this thing, we were in Vegas and we're getting an Uber, and I don't know if it's new or not, but on the Uber it now has a thing where you can set your expectations, you know, low music, what station, do you want the temperature in the car to be cool, do you want conversation, no conversation from the driver?
I want it to be sunny
That's
outside.
nice.
Yeah. Change the weather for me.
Yeah, it's incredible.
That's good.
Personalized yard and open house signs, 5 to 10 each. 5 to 10 each. Now you can use Frankie's, but they're branded to Frankie. And at some point you're going to want to use your own. You can use Jen's, but they're branded to Jen, and at some point you're going to want your own. If you're farming an area and you're using Haley's from Sacramento every single weekend, people are going to start to call Haley because they see her all the time, right? They know her. That's how they feel. So you're going to want to get your own open house and yard signs. An open house sign from Fast Post, I think it was like $60 or $50. So just get one. Prepare in your mind that you're going to get a listing within the next 12 weeks. And if you don't, then I did something wrong with this training. Okay? You're going to want to have a sign that has your name, your face, your picture, your phone number, all that.
Only for an open house, right?
Only for the open house yard sign.
Okay.
Now, if you're going to get an open house sign that goes on the streets, you've got to buy two things. One, you've got to buy the frame that looks like your open house for sale sign. That's going to go on one side and one that's going to go on the other side. I think we get them for like $20, $24 each. But then you have to buy the frame also. That bulky frame, or you can do the wired ones, which are a lot more affordable. Start off doing whatever's financially you're able to do, but make sure that you brand yourself and that you get these. It's so, so important.
You need at least one open house sign.
Need at least one open house sign.
So the open house yard signs, I haven't used those, just the
Yeah.
metal ones for the street.
For the street, yes. So now when you get a listing, right, we go to, I use Fast Post. I've used them for 11 years. And what I do is I tell Fast Post or online, I just put in an order for a standard white Fast Post sign.
For a listing.
And then they hang up the,
Oh, okay, I thought
sign.
you were talking about something different.
Right.
Sorry.
I'm glad you were able to ask that. Really glad that I was able to clarify that.
What am I missing out on?
I had some orange juice this morning. I'm not allowed to. I don't know what it does with the sugar, but it jacks me up. Tablet, stamps, name tag, at least have a 1 pin, right? Well, again, why is our 1 pin on the left side? Closest to our heart, right? We want to do everything intentional. Everything should be intentional. Our eyes need to focus to that now. Remember, you're a business owner. You own your company. You want everything to be intentional. Your One app, right? Your Loansify app. That's an incredible tool. You want to make sure you have that. So you're standing at an open house and someone says, I don't know if I can qualify for this. Well, let's do a soft pull on your credit real quick. And now you just put all the power in your hands in your app, and now your buyer or potential buyer just did it. Now they have a way to find out if they can buy the home. Didn't even affect their credit, right? We have all these tools at our hands, at our disposal, but we need to make sure that we're setting the stage for this success. So if you don't have one of these, make sure you're writing it down. If you need me to go back to it, I can later. Know your market. Choose an area, city or subdevelopment that you want to farm or focus on. Know the price points for the square footage range, know the average days on market, know the schools, if there's any future development taking place. Let's say you're selling Manteca. One of the biggest things that you can do is to tell people what they already know. The Great Wolf Lodge is opening. We already know that. When's it opening? Now you're getting into being intentional and being deliberate, right? Are they taking day passes? How much are day passes? How many stories is it? 3, 4, 5? Is there a bowling alley inside? Do they have restaurants? You want to be able to be the expert in your area and do things that others aren't doing. That's what will set you apart. Setting up your personalized agent app, I think everyone has already done this, but if you haven't, I wanted to make sure that you know that this is what it will be. All you do is just change your name. It's real simple. If you're going to post a link on Facebook, right, or Instagram or Twitter, whatever you do, do not go to the App Store or Google Play to download the app. It will not be personalized to you. You have to do it through your one zone. Okay? Very important. Sharing your app. Your app will have the contact your agent. So when your clients are out, we have clients that were looking in South Carolina. They're standing in South Carolina and they were looking at homes nearby, so they clicked this button that said search nearby homes. And all the homes popped up in South Carolina. And they reached back and said, we want this one. I said, awesome. Well, let's make that happen, right? So it's real simple to do. This contact your agent button is very simple. Whatever they're looking at, you see what they're looking at. Whatever they're hearting, loving, saving, you see it. When they log in, you see they log in. It's a great way for you to stay in touch and to know exactly, keeping your pulse on your client's market, so to speak. Again, the nearby homes, nearby rentals. You have a client that is an investor maybe, and your investor only wants homes that are for sale, discounted homes. Well, you just click reduce price every single day, or have your client click reduce price every single day. Now it's going to show them every single home that has been reduced price in your area. Every single one. And now you tell them, hey, I found three homes you might love. Well, thanks for staying in touch. I don't want those 3. Perfect. Talk to you tomorrow. Right? And then you go and you put them into your CRM and you set them up on campaigns, automate as much as you can. The app, extremely important. Running your business like a business owner. We talked about that in the beginning. Are you here because you're serious about building a successful business? Do you want a business you can sell or pass down? Are you here just to earn extra money? None of them are wrong. They're all right. If you don't have a plan for yourself, you'll end up on someone else's plan. I think that's crazy. You know, when I worked in the corporate world, right? I started off as a teller in banking, and I worked my way up to a position where there was only 5 in the entire banking industry. And as I was climbing that ladder, I realized at some point that I got so high, and I thought it was great. I got to the top of the roof, but I was on someone else's roof, right? I'd climbed the wrong ladder for way too long. And I never got to do what I wanted to do. And there was a lot of sacrifices that took place through that. So make sure that you do have a plan. If you don't have a plan today, I can email everyone the 2020 vision plan. It's a budget. It's got everything in there. It's pretty intense though, okay? But it keeps you on track. We have tools that help measure and track our results. We need to know what's working and what isn't working. How many times have you in this industry said, it's not working, but you keep doing it, the same thing over and over and over? Honestly, that is the most frustrating thing to me, is when my kid, I see him every single day, brush their teeth knowing the battery's dead, and they sit there and it's like a movie. Why do you keep doing that? Right? It's because it's habit. We created a habit in 30 to 60 days. But that lifestyle change that we're looking for will never happen, because at some point they're going to stop brushing their teeth. At some point we're going to give up on doing this whole business. You see, if money is the thing that brought us in, then I guarantee you money will be the exact same thing that takes us out. Using personal and business budgets. Determine what you are willing to invest in your business as it applies to time and money. That's powerful. Not a lot of people think to invest in their business. Right? You can do it with, Carla was doing it with, Carla, how much was your Facebook boosts?
About $5 a week.
$5 a week. Did you get any hits from it?
I did, yeah,
Several. Incredible. $5 a week, right? But if you don't have a budget in mind that you can at least put $150 into your business every month, maybe $100 every 2 months, and you're not going to open up doors that should be opened in this business. Another thing is building your team. You want to build your team right from the very beginning, okay? Build your team in your company. What have I written here? Start with a video. Share with everyone in your social media that you have a team of professionals and specialists to help make sure that your clients' real estate experiences are top shelf. You are surrounded by tremendous experience, and too often agents forget this basic principle of reminding everyone how powerful you are. And that is what sets you apart. You have Homekeeper. Start building your Homekeeper app with all of these individuals. And when you're farming and you're letting your entire social media know and your entire farm area know that you have the app for them, now they're not going to go post on Facebook and say, recommendations for a plumber. Well, I already have one. Recommendations for home repair, handyman. It doesn't matter. You just build your Homekeeper app as best you can. How many of you have started building that app? Good. Do you find value in it? One of the things that I love on that Homekeeper app is it has a button on the side for your clients to click that says, find out what my home is worth. So now at any time while you see the Homekeeper app is designed for me. I closed my house and I moved in on day 1. And Cody sent me this app and said, congratulations on closing your home. We want to make sure that if you ever sell your home, that buyers see every single record that was done to your property, that it stays in tip-top shape, and that you treat it the best you can possibly treat it. And I said, well, how do I do that? And Cody says, just open my app and follow month 1, week 1, month 2, week 3, month 4, week 5. And it tells me exactly what I need to do to keep my home in shape every single year. And then if I go to sell my home, I click the button that says free home value, and I've got these records, these receipts. How many of you have ever bought a watch and online, maybe a used watch, and it had the box, the manual? How many of you bought a car, a used car, and you looked in that glove box? First thing you looked for was that manual, right? Same thing here. When you sell that home, you want to have that manual. It's an absolutely great tool to give to your clients and share with your farm area.
And it works.
Tell me about it.
It works fantastic. I keep hearing my clients have closed a couple deals, one in Manteca, a couple deals other, I think Modesto, and they use it. They use it like crazy. My father-in-law is using it. He doesn't need to bother me. He doesn't need to bother anybody else. He's not looking in the yellow pages for a recommendation. It's literally there. Boom, it's done. No, I don't think he'll do it. I mean, he's not doing anything. He's not doing anything other than going on that app, and it's reaffirming who we are to him and every other client. It's the same thing. Same exact concept.
Very good way to stay in front of your clients.
Yeah, and it's branded to us. There's no way they can step out and go to another agent when there's right there. It's giving me your home value. Well, who gave me this app? The Loves did. Done.
See, if I relied on you in the beginning as my realtor, and I relied on you in the middle to find the home, and then at the very end, I'm still relying on you for the next couple years, it's a no-brainer. I'm still going to rely on you as my family realtor. Goals, the big picture. Biggest thing when writing goals, okay? Just want to touch on this. You're not going to write them now, but they must be SMART goals. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Right? All too often when we're writing goals, we're not writing them with this method in mind. Now, you can write goals a million different ways. Okay? And if that way works for you, do it. But I saw a show of hands earlier, and I didn't see many people doing it. So here's a great way to do it. SMART. So let's talk about specific. Is your goal specific? Saying I'll make a lot of money isn't specific. But I will earn $100,000 by December 31st of this year. That's a specific goal. Measurable. Ask yourself how much, how many, how will I know when it's accomplished? How will you be able to measure that goal? Right? At the end, the time. There's by next month I'll have an extra $10,000 in my bank account. Right? It's measurable. Attainable. Where you are right now in your real estate career, is it an attainable goal? Are you setting yourself up for failure by writing a goal that says you're going to make $19 billion by the end of this year? Now, if you can, amazing, and I would love to see that, but I think you should be able to set realistic goals for yourself. Is your goal relevant? Does it align with you, your values, your long-term goals? You see, just because someone wants to make $1 million and someone wants to make $300,000 shouldn't mean that the person that's making 300 should just automatically up their goals and say, no, I'm gonna make more. It might not be what's in your heart, right? Money isn't everything.
Right.
But I will say this,
There isn't.
being broke isn't either, so let's try the money thing.
I've been on both ends of those, yeah.
Is your goal timely? Does it have a due date? Does your goal have a due date? If it doesn't, probably wind up putting it off multiple times. Maybe you'll never even come back to it. It's got to have a due date. The big picture. In order to get where we want to be, we need to know where we are right now. This is the meat and potatoes of this. Okay? I can tell you every single year exactly where my business is. I'm talking about down to a science, right? And so I showed one from last year. I'm going to show it next. How I do it. Now I'm old school, right? So I do it through Excel, okay? And I wanted to track, the first month, and I wanted to track the second month, so I gathered 6 months worth of data and I put it on for you so you can see kind of what I was focused on. And I can tell my wife at any given moment, hey, we're going to have a better month next month in income. She's going to say, why? I'm going to say, because I realized based on the amount of commission I was either charging sellers or receiving in certain areas based on home prices, that I know I need to do a little bit different if I'm going to meet my goals. I'm not going to stay selling in the same area. I'm going to get out of my backyard, right? I need to do a little more. So here's what I did up to June last year, right? I had 43 total transactions by June. I can tell you how many were listings and how many were buyers. I can tell you what was the source of my business, marketing, past clients, referrals, home values, whatever it might be. And I can tell you the exact commission percentage that was paid out on each one of those homes. You see, we have to begin writing down our business. We have to. And you see, that's motivating when you get 2 or 3, and now you're like, well, let me do another one. Let me do another one. Let me do another one. So then what I did on the next Excel part is I showed you how many potential listings by June did I have. I had 43, so now that would have made 47. What was my total pipeline volume? $21 million. That means I was going to make Masters Club, in the first month, if you will, of selling real estate. How much commission was I paid so far? $217,000. How much was left of my total pipeline was $367,000 of income to me. Now that's net. It's after paying everything I had to pay. So I knew I had another $149,000 coming to me, so I could tell my wife, hey, we can go on a quick vacation. We can just scoot over to Castro Valley or Fremont, stay somewhere overnight real quick, don't go far. Right? Let's just get away from the kids for a minute. Oh, look at this. I could tell my wife, hey, babe, my wife says, well, I don't know if we should really go anywhere. Well, it's okay. June, I've got $83,000 coming in. We're fine, right? We can go do something. We can go do it now. I know where the source is coming from. Reached out on Facebook message. Called on January 9th. Said they heard we were the best to sell. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is. You need to be able to have your information written down. This is important because you want to put them into your CRM.
Is that a spreadsheet available?
I do have this available. Yes. Yep, I have it available so everyone can use it. Right? Here's my favorite part to this. Is the next one. What percentage of my business is coming from listings and buyers? You see, I know I have a 70-30 business. And when I'm at a 70-30 business, I know I can make between $700,000 to $800,000 a year without fail because of where I'm selling, right? I can tell what my total pipeline transactions are. 45 by June, 7 pending, 6 active, 5 were coming soon. What city was my main source? I write down my transactions by city. Mountain House, Tracy, Manteca, Tahoe, to be determined, Stockton, Disco Bay, Lathrop, right? I can also tell you where my number one source of business is coming from, marketing. 37% is coming from marketing. 37% coming from marketing. Marketing, I should have replaced it with farming. That's not marketing, that's actually farming. My number 2, past clients. My number 3, friend referrals. My number 4, personal, home values. So I now know next month, what am I going to focus on? Am I going to focus on number 6, what's not working? Am I going to focus on Tahoe, that's obviously not working? No. I'm going to increase farming in a different location or stick with the location that is working, and I'm going to enhance it. But you see, if I don't have this, I don't know what my average monthly income was last year every month up until June. I wouldn't know how much income I lost. Why did I lose the income? I would not have a pulse on my business. I would not run it like a business owner. And I can tell you that I would have had a horrible year. So I encourage every single one of you, I'll send this to you if you want it. All the measures are there. All you got to do is just start plugging them in. Just start plugging them in. And it's not going to change your life. What it's going to do is it's going to enhance your life.
I would beg to differ.
Talk about that. Hold on. Let me go downstairs on this one. Plans.
Well, I've been an agent for 5 years, and I've been winging it. And I've done really well winging it. But I could see when you could see where your money's coming from, you're not focusing on the Zillow or the things that aren't mattering. So
We're spending money wastefully because you thought that something would work, and now you know that it doesn't work.
Well, you can't manage something you can't measure. I mean,
Someone write that down.
that too.
That too.
True.
So,
Well said.
like to also add, I've been an agent for 5 years, and the reason why I'm here at the Realty One Group is because I came to a free training and I saw the value that these trainings bring. So if you're new, really pay attention, and if you're a seasoned agent, you're here for a reason because you want to relearn those basics.
Right.
So.
Yeah, no, well said. I appreciate that. It goes back to treasurer's heart, right? You want to see other people do well. I said this, I'm going to say it again. When I first started in real estate, I just didn't know how to get listings. I didn't know how to be a buyer's agent. I didn't even have signs. We weren't even allowed to use signs. We had to use the office signs, right? So I really couldn't brand myself. Our signs were yellow. It was embarrassing. It was like, but it's what worked at the time, right? I'm not knocking that. Every business runs their business a specific way. And it works for every single agent out there. I just realized when I went online and I Googled, how do I get listings? No one was giving their secrets away. And I realized when I went on, how to find buyers. Everyone wanted to take my money in order to give me deals that everyone was already doing. And so I had to source a way for myself to do a little different. And so I started farming. I knew nothing about farming. I was terrified to talk to people in their home. I couldn't go up, if I was going to put a flyer inside someone's door, I was not going to ring the bell, I was not going to knock, I was going to run as fast as I could. And one day I got up to the steps, scared me to death. Wife opened the blinds just to get the window open, I guess, and I panicked and I dropped the flyer and I just waved. I just waved. Who waves, right? You're not supposed to wave this close. It just doesn't work. But I did. But I started farming and I ran that business to incredible heights. And that's how I did it, right? So now when someone comes to a training class, it's like Googling, how do I get a listing? Well, you're going to find out, How do I get buyers? You're going to find out. How do I source and season my business? How do I become a referral agent-based business, right? You're going to find it. So let's move on to your personal expenses and income. This is what I will also send you if you want it. You can have it. It's really simple. Work's done. You use 4 boxes. Type in your desired profit. Put in your budgeted expense. If you don't have one, leave it at 0. Put in what your average commission rate and what your average sell price is. And it's going to tell you right here what you now need to do. I like this because it means that the person that's going to make $200,000, who has a $350 a month budget, who sells homes and gets a 2.5% commission, they're going to need to close $8 million in volume, so they're going to go to Master's Club, and they need to close 18 transactions, selling in an area that has $450,000 homes. It's real simple. It's already broken down for you. And then what it does is it opens up a whole new door for you on the next page, right? Which I don't have here, but I have it here for you. It's your 2020 vision plan. A lot of us did it together. We had a class on it for those that didn't go to the class. For those that don't have it, I'll email it to you, and then you start plugging it in. It is truly an eye-opener, okay? The power of a plan is basically your map to get there. And of course, if it's not working, through this, you're going to be able to make course corrections and change what isn't working. You see me change my business every single month. I have to change it, right? So let's take a look at where business should come from, okay? Starting off, say you're a seasoned agent as well. Let's kind of go back to the basics for a minute, okay? Your past clients, friends, and family, that's your inner circle. They represent people that you're connected to and would refer business to you given the opportunity, right? And then you're going to move out to the outer circle, or the middle. It's going to be the people who are connected but haven't referred business to you. So you're connected to them, but they haven't referred you business yet. Your neighbors, medical pros, church, community, business you use, past coworkers, your social media. And then, of course, your outer circle are the ones that you're developing to create a connection that will lead to business. This in itself should be someone's business plan. I'm going to start here on Monday. I'm going to focus here on Tuesday. And I'm going to use my CRM and begin to build this on Friday. And then Tuesday comes and you switch Tuesday to here. And you just keep on working your business. You work your circle, your sphere. The key factor to remember when prospecting, right? Going back to this slide here. If you're going to prospect somebody, there's 100 ways to prospect. Some like to door knock. Me, I don't like door knocking, but it works, right? I don't like making cold calls to lists of people because it just doesn't work for me, but it works for others. In fact, it works very well for others. I'll tell you about that in 1 second. In fact, I'll tell you now. Maria, she buys a list from title company. It's 5 cents a lead. She comes in the office last week. I was sitting in Salah's office. She walks in and she says, you know what? I'm going to get a listing this month. Going back to positive attitude. She said, I'm going to get a listing this month. She hasn't had any. She said, I'm going to get one. And I said, okay, so what are you going to do to do it? She said, well, here's my plan. And she's told me her plan. She bought this list for 5 cents a lead from title, and she's going to start calling these people. I said, great. And she called. Hour and a half later, she comes running back in. She says, I got a listing appointment.
Yay,
I said, what?
awesome.
She said, I did. She was supposed to go to a listing appointment, and they canceled on her. And so she was bummed out, naturally. Yesterday she comes in the office and she says, you know what? I have to get a listing before the end of this month. I looked at my date on my watch and I said, before the end of this month, right? Just joking with her, put a little pressure on her. She said, yeah. Well, she made some phone calls and she got a listing appointment. She called me at 6 p.m. last night and said they signed the contract. I said, amazing, right? But here's the deal. She knew what she wanted. She was intentional. She was deliberate about it. She put a plan together. And what's the end result? It's predictable. Very predictable. So, if you're going to prospect, don't be scared by it. Here's why I say that, okay? Key factor is focus primarily on the things that you do enjoy and excel in. Find the most effective means and focus on those. Always begin with the inner circle, as these people are generally the quickest way to source business. It's a no-brainer. There's really not a lot to talk about on it, but it is prospecting. You want to prospect for 3 hours a day. 3 hours a day. That's a lot, and that can be pretty scary. What do you say when you call someone? Ford. 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 Michael Spivey, answer your phone. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Michael, it's Josh.
How's it going?
Good. How's the family?
Family's been good.
It's amazing. Hey, I heard you still you switched over to that Realty One group in Stockton. Are you still working there?
Oh yeah, I am. I've heard about that.
Oh man, yeah, absolutely. I was following you on Facebook. Speaking of, I saw you guys took a trip to Disneyland in February. Looked like you had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was an amazing time. I'm glad I got to go.
That's amazing. Do you have any big plans for the future?
Yeah, I plan on going to Hawaii.
That's amazing. Hey, listen, I don't want to keep you any longer, but I did want to call, connect, and say Happy New Year, and I'll talk to you later. That's it. Now I've prospected a phone call using a script called FORD. Family, occupation, recreation, dreams. It allows you to get off the phone quicker, make your connections genuinely, and move on. That's it. You're not selling someone something. You're not reminding them what you do. You're just creating a connection that you haven't made before. Remember, this sport, real estate, it is a contact sport. If we're not connecting, then we've missed the whole boat. Right? And you don't want to be that person that has such bad aim that you can't hit water when you fall out of a boat. So let's start doing it the right way. Here it is, prospecting schedule. Don't panic for those 3 hours. The first hour is spent preparing. You get yourself ready to go. You don't just show up to a football game and start playing. No, you practice, you warm up, you stretch. Right? You don't just go to dance class and start tumbling and hurting yourself. You do what you got to do first. It's prepared. Sometimes I used to run around the office right here before I'd make a phone call. Treasure and them be laughing. But I take my business serious. In fact, I'm deliberate and intentional. And they would walk out their office and laugh at me. Right? But who's laughing now? I'm kidding. Hour number 2. The second hour is when you actually do your phone calls, your Ford script. Send out your Facebook messages. And in your Facebook message, you're going to say, hey, Lance, haven't connected in a while. How's the family? Lance going to reply back, we're doing great. I'm going to reply back, are you still working over at Chevron? Yep, still working over at Chevron. I'm the bathroom stay attendant. It's amazing. Right? Then I reply back, I saw that you were going on vacation and it looked like you guys had a great time. Yeah, we had a great time. You planning any other vacations coming up? Nope. This is through Facebook. Right? Because I'm too fearful to call. So I found another means. I'm being deliberate and intentional. And you just go through it for that whole hour. The third hour is for follow-up. That's where you enter your notes, you write your personal note cards, and you follow up on any lead generated through prospecting. You use your CRM through Sync. This model is going to keep you on track and tremendously effective if you do it this way. Tremendously effective. Can you imagine the amount of business you'd have at the end of the year if you did this every single day? For 3 hours, you time blocked something. Drop the kids off, grab your coffee, get your bagels, whatever you do, eat your kale, your spinach, bananas, carrots, and you come and you sit down and you do what you got to do for 3 hours. Run around this office. Imagine if I saw a whole office run. The news crew would be out saying, what is going on in there? There'd be the biggest story Stockton's ever seen. Agents looking like ants, right? We call ourselves the AAs. Which probably wouldn't be good in real estate. So, we want to utilize the GPS tools. Every single one of you should have received the email. The email has the GPS tools. Okay, if you didn't receive the email, tell Paula and she'll send it to you. You're going to want to use the YMWs. You're going to want to use your weekly accountability sheet. And here's the order that you're going to use them in. So if you're following this, take notes. YM, this is the tool to take the big yearly goals you have and reduce them to a much smaller amount so it's not so overwhelming. It's going to be your weekly goal. Then you're going to use your weekly accountability sheet. This is a tool that allows you to define the activities that you need to complete this week. It's also going to track whether or not you actually complete them. It also tracks the result that those activities create. And then of course, if at the end of the week you fall short, it's just time to make a quick adjustment. It's real simple. Then you have your lead conversion tracking sheet. This is a tool that allows you to track your results on a weekly, monthly, and quarterly, year-to-date basis. Of course, I have the other Excel sheet I'll be sending to you too. It's going to help you. You can use it in conjunction or you can replace it with it. And then you're going to use your perfect week. Remember, these are all in order. This is a tool that keeps you balanced in your week, ensuring that you're focused on the revenue-producing activities rather than the supportive activities. I can't tell you that enough. If you spend all your time doing supportive activities, you will not bring in revenue. So if I spend all my time making commercials, right, and marketing and advertising like crazy to drive business in, but I don't focus on actually building the revenue, I'll go broke. Business will close up. You have to focus on the revenue-producing activities. Then, of course, you're going to use your where does your time go sheets. This one's what we call the ego crush. It's a wake-up call that we all dread. It's the tool that we track where we actually spend our time last week. Of course, by tracking our actual activities, we're going to see where we were most efficient and where we wasted a lot of our time. And then, of course, the script and dialogue, the one that was forward. It's the easiest one to remember. Easiest one to remember. Any questions right now? Okay, there are a lot of habits that we can create. Okay, a ton of them. There's only one habit that we really truly need to focus on. Here's the concept. You're going to call 3 people that are already in your database every day. 3 calls. Then you're going to add 3 new people to your database every day. You're going to add 3 new people. When we sit down and we go through that Facebook and I look at your friends list and I say, well, we need to beef it up a little bit, well, you're adding 3 new people every single day. Okay? It's highly critical. If you lived in a city of 310,000 population and you had the only corner store on the market and you closed your doors every single day except Saturday when you decided to add 3 people to come in and buy something, you would go broke. Your store would close. You need to make sure that you're doing this every single day, building your customers to come into your business daily. Be intentional about it. And then, of course, you're going to send 6 handwritten notes, 1 to each of the people you spoke with that day. 1 to each of the people you spoke with that day. 6 handwritten notes. Handwritten note. Very important. So with that being said, that's the end of week 1. Does anyone have some comments, feedback, questions, concerns, clarifications?
Powerful stuff.
Yeah.
Man.
It's a lot to take in.
It's a lot, yeah, it's a lot to take in. You know, that's one of the reasons why, you know, if with training, any training you go to, right, any conference, any expo, you don't absorb it all at one time. You write down a couple things that mean the most to you, and you just apply that to your business that week. And then next week, you come to Mastermind Monday, and we talk about it. What's working, what wasn't working. And then you go to training the next week, and you learn something new, and you apply it. And at the end of 12 weeks, you're going to be a very successful real estate agent because you have hopefully been applying 1 or 2 things throughout the week. Well, we finished exactly on time. Would anyone like to see another magic trick? I'm just kidding. We also do, you guys, so, and ladies, we have our own YouTube channel that we started creating, Treasure Nights. You just go to Realty One Group Zoom on YouTube, and now you'll be able to see all of our trainings. You'll be able to see some of the other videos.
Oh, that's awesome.
We don't have all the trainings on there yet, obviously, but we're going to start having those very soon. We upload them every Tuesday night after the meeting. So now you can just go back if you